What do you get when you throw two natural born intuitive mediums together with a passion for animals and empowerment?
Spirits, angels, and guides. Oh my. I'm empowerment medium Tara Diana.
And I am intuitive medium Nancy Brady. Together, we focus on the good,
The bad,
and the ugly of working with the spirit realm.
but mostly we're focusing on the good.
Hello, Tara.
Hello, Nancy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm excited for this episode.
For those of you who have followed us from day one, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful to you. We have been talking on and on about Tara's triggers. And today, I tell you, I am going to be poking the bear. I am going to be saying, Tara, how far can I trigger you on this one? Are we ready? Drum roll, what we're going to be talking about?
I think we should call this the first episode of Tara's Triggers.
Okay, first episode of Tara's Triggers.
Episode number 1.
Episode number 1, and the subject matter is false prophets, curses, and psychic attacks.
Oh my. Oh my.
Really good in the restraint because Tara tends to wear her emotions on her face. And so that I'm very proud of you there because you just sort of, okay.
Oh, I got shivers, to be honest with you, because this is something that in my 22 plus years of professionally working has come up consistently. People bullshitting other people. And it infuriates me.
Yes.
But it also saddens me.
Exactly.
One is that they make the rest of us look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They lump us because people will lump us all together.
Yeah.
It's why I don't like frivolous readings. I don't like just readings that are just like, I don't know how to explain it. Just, readings where people are just like, and I'm gonna read, this for you, and I'm gonna tell you this, and it has a purpose.
Yeah.
So it's why I'm always so powerfully passionate about who I, recommend to people, because I do recommend a lot of people. Nancy for one, Jenny Kitson for one, Lynn White for one. I mean, people. I'm not recommending, the James Van Progs and all those people because they are all, not that they're bad readers. That's not what I'm saying. Not that they're charlatans at all, but there's a lot of money they're making. And so sometimes when there becomes a vast amount of money being made, the energy shifts a little bit, and they can all come at me and whatever, because I said what I said and I'm standing behind it. So this is a big thing. And, different cultures have different ways of doing readings, right? Voodoo is one of those things. And if you actually go back and you look into voodoo, Nancy, you'll see it has a lot of very positive work surrounding it.
Yeah.
But when you think of voodoo, what do you think?
Well, Hollywood has definitely taken it and twisted it and tainted it from what it is. And then you also have the people and individuals out there who are in this for monetary gain. And just to let our listeners know, one of the reasons that this sort of got put up on our agenda to talk about was I literally had someone leave a card under my windshield at the grocery store where they were promising 100% removal of black magic, bad luck, evil spirits, and they were going to give some Holy Spirit protection. And I just see this as preying on the vulnerable. I see this as a huge money grab because, of course, once they remove a curse, you might get another curse stuck on you, right? Quote unquote.
Or it takes more than one try to get rid of the curse.
I didn't get it this time. Come back to me. And then it's just this whole scheme and this whole fraudulent thing that takes money off of genuine, hardworking, kind people.
And we're having a run of bad luck.
We're having a really bad run of bad luck. And it also taints the good work of the people like Tara and our community, our pod of spiritual people that we run with, that do this work from a place of love and light. And so I do feel it's probably a Tara and Nancy trigger episode.
I'm sure it is. So let's talk for a second about all of this cursing and all of this stuff. I'm going to say it flat out. You're only cursed if you believe you're cursed. There's no such thing as a bloody curse. No one, and again, black magic and all that stuff, if you believe in it, it's going to happen.
Yes. Now,
Why?
one of the things that Tara saw happen, I did a reading one time for a person, and culturally they believe in curses. So they had this entire thing that she brought to the table where she believed the boyfriend was cursing and putting under a spell her daughter. And it really wasn't the case. Unfortunately, her daughter was suffering from depression. And it was one of the situations where right away I just walked them back up to the front of the fair and I said, no, this is not something that I can help you with. And I don't even play in that arena. She wasn't even willing to hear me talk about that curses weren't real, because in her mind, she so emphatically believed her daughter was cursed versus needing mental health help.
Which is a big, big thing, because as humans, we want the easy way out. This isn't my responsibility to look after myself. Someone has done something to me, bad them.
Yes.
Right? Not bad me for not looking after myself. And yes, I do realize that sometimes it's hard to see where you're at. It's hard to understand it. And sometimes you can be so in that illusion of what you're believing that you can't see past it. So I do get all that. But all people can read people to whatever extent. And I feel that when someone comes and sits down, and tell me if you do this, I generally do a once over. I do. I generally pick up the good vibes, pick up the bad vibes, prepare myself for what could come.
Yeah.
I rarely shun a reading, but I also know that if I see someone that's coming into my space, I don't read at fairs anymore, per se, but if I did, I used to be able to look at the door and see who was coming in. And if they were coming over and looking at readings and I was not in a reading with someone, I would literally walk up and be like, that's not for me. Don't give them to me. 9 times out of 10, they'd be coming for me. And I'd be like, no, that's not it. That's not the right energy. We won't connect. Just say I'm busy. Now, I'm up for a challenge always.
Yeah.
But if I know from the get-go that we aren't going to mesh, and it's not even necessarily, Nancy, that I won't get the messages. It's not that.
No.
It's that what is it going to take from me to give those messages?
Yes.
Right? What is it going to take from me to, because I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. Right?
And I think that's the difference, because you and I both operate from that place. And you're often going to hear Tara and I talking where it's great if you mentor under Tara or you mentor under me, but don't believe everything that we say is the end all Bible of spiritualism or mediumship development or animal communication. Take what you can and leave the rest. Anyone who comes to you and says emphatically, no, it's my way or the highway, run.
Absolutely.
That is like a false prophet. You do not need to be doing anything with you. You cannot be psychically attacked. You cannot have a curse put on you. You cannot have any of that done unless you believe it is happening to you. The mind is such a powerful thing, Tara.
Such a powerful thing. And again, this goes back down to, we've talked about this before, and it's worth reiterating again, is that what Spirit gives Nancy and I is what Spirit sees in the potential. We're not fortune tellers. There's no such thing. So what we see, but if you take what we say and you go left instead of we seeing you go right, the reading is changed.
Yes.
So, and there's other variables. And that's why when people come back and say things like, well, you said that in April I'd have a boyfriend. When they say that, and you know that you've given the good message. It's not on us. It's on, unfortunately, you. What are you doing wrong? And maybe not wrong, but what are you not bringing to the table that's not allowing it to happen? People don't like to look at their inner self.
It's hard for us to look, well, okay, a lot of times we are overtly self-critical, but we don't want to look inward and do the work to get past that so that we get to a place where we can celebrate ourselves as much as we would celebrate someone else.
Because sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
The circumstances, the situations, the variables, it can feel overwhelming, and that's all valid.
And then there's human free will. You know,
Absolutely.
you can basically leave that reading and do something to completely change that outcome so you don't meet said new lover, or you start creating things in your head. Let's go back to the one episode we talked about, the Amityville Horror House, where, you know, Hollywood has created such infamy around this house that people go by and they go, oh my God, that's a scary house. Well, the next thing you know, you're putting this, oh my God, that's a scary house energy on the house. And then someone else is going by and saying, oh, there's ghosts in there, and they're putting that there. And suddenly the massive consciousness of people is putting all this negative energy on this house. Well, yeah, of course,
Everyone's going to feel it,
everyone's going to feel it, right?
right? So curses, things like that. When you see a card like that, read what the card said again.
So, world famous astrologer who is 100% removal of black magic, bad luck, evil spirits, and gives Holy Spirit protection. And then,
Google him?
Pardon me?
Can you Google him? Because he's world renowned.
I should. And then, of course, then they go into the love, family, children problems, health, job, money, luck, all of the stuff that people traditionally want to come for a reading.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Depression, enemies, drinking problems, sexual problems, and court cases.
So this is someone who is just in it for the money. No one that I've ever worked with in my entire world, honestly, has ever been like, come to me, I'm going to take away all these things. All those things that person, I believe it's a man, correct?
It could be, I'm not too sure the way the name is.
I feel like it's a man. But
So,
I feel like they're saying this energy because those are all the trigger points of the very humanist aspect. They're not coming to hear from a loved one, so he's not doing mediumship. They're not coming they're coming because there is something wrong in their life.
but here's the funny thing on the card, to interrupt you quickly, it does say specialized in bringing loved ones back. I wonder where they went, because it's a world famous astrologer, but they don't claim to be a medium.
Bringing them back from the dead? What the HE double hockey sticks?
I don't know.
Zombies? Like, I don't know. And so this kind of stuff, I mean, most common, you know, the thing is that he's running around putting these on people's cars and doing all of this so that Joe Blow, who suddenly reads this, and it's like, you know what? I feel like I've had a bout of bad luck. I feel like I've had a bout of bad luck. Maybe I need to go to this person. And they go there. I'm going to give you an example of something many, many, many years ago when I was still reading in my husband's computer room before I had my own space. A gentleman called me up, a young man, called me up and said, hey, do you do aura clearings? And I said, absolutely, I do. And he says to me, good. I really feel I need my aura cleared. And he had found my card at the spirituals church.
Okay.
And he just felt drawn to me. I was like, okay, groovy, let's go. Come on over. We'll clear your aura, buddy. So he comes on in, young guy. I want to say he was Asian, but you know, for some reason I can't remember now. But I'm pretty sure he was Asian. Anyway, he's looking at me and he looks very sad. And I said, "Are you okay?" I mean, outside of the fact you want an aura clearing, but I said, "Are you okay?" Because I'm feeling like there's a lot of energy. And he goes, "I gotta tell you a story." And I was like, "Oh dear." I was like, "Okay." And so he tells me, and no word of a lie, Nancy, about 6 blocks from my house, there was a little shop. It's changed hands like 19 times. With one of those big palm hands in it, said palm reader. And, you know, it has all the astrological stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it was there. And I pay zero attention to any of those things. I don't advertise in windows. I don't even advertise per se. I do a little bit more now because I have other things I do with my metaphysical work. But before it was just absolutely word of mouth. So he said, do you know the place I'm talking about? And I said, I do. And I was just starting to feel like all the stuff. And so he says, and I'm going to make this short and sweet, but this is the gist of it. He says that this woman, he went to see her. He had some questions. She started to read his hand, and then she looked at him and said, "Oh, you're cursed. You've done very..." She did. She said, "You've done very, very bad things in your life." And here's what happened. She triggered him right there because he had, as a teenager, done some not so super awesome kind of gang-like stuff, but he was working a great job. He was a pharmacist, or not, excuse me, a pharmacist. He did something big with computers in a big company. He was helping his mom who had been sick. He was doing all these really great things, and she triggered him right there. And she said, "But nothing's working. It's all going to fall apart for you because you did all this stuff." And so then she said to him, "For $5,000, I will remove the curse." So you know what he did? Do you know what he did?
Tell me he didn't give her
He
$5,000.
didn't. He went, "F you. What a bunch of bullshit." And he left.
Good. Yay.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh,
So what happens? She got into his subconscious. So now he starts to get sick. He starts to lose his hair. He can't focus on anything because all the bad juju is happening, right? She was right. Oh my God. So he tried to go back.
he planted the seed and he watered.
That's right. So he tried to go back to her, but that little star was gone.
Go figure.
So now he's like just stressed to the core. His mom's getting sicker. He lost his job. He's lost his hair. He feels like crap. All this stuff because he has a curse on him. And I said, what changed for you? You left. You didn't pay her any money. So what changed for you? And he's like, "Well, I guess I was cursed." I said, "Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not." So we did the aura clearing and everything, and he started coming to the spiritualist church because good people, good energy, good vibes. And I haven't seen him in many, many, many years. I just took away the energy that he was holding on to, that she had planted in him, and we rebalanced him, and it was good stuff. And that's all he needed. Now, you can take that the same way as you could take a curse,
100%.
right? Now he's allowed the work to be done.
That's right.
He believed in the curse, but he also believed in me being able to take away.
Yeah.
And I never said I could take away a curse because I don't believe in curses. And I said that to him. I will never forget Lynn White. She's a beautiful intuitive medium that does work in our space. And it being at a fair years and years and years ago, and someone was talking about curses, and she says, "You want me to get rid of your curse?" And she went, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And
For the people listening, Tara did a pretend spit to the side. So,
"Oh my God." And then she said, "Give me 25 cents. And I was so shocked. Anyway, but the point was made. The point made sense, right? So I did tell him, I said, "I don't believe in curses, but I definitely believe in negative energy. And I definitely believe we can carry negative energy. And she has placed negative energy in your mind, which is now progressing to the physical."
and it comes back to the power of the mind. Right?
Exactly.
You don't believe in it, it can't manifest. And that's for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely. And the next thing that happens is you say something as a psychic medium, intuitive medium, you say something to someone and it doesn't come to fruition. That's where we go back to the whole idea of people not being able to think for themselves. And that's why I won't see people over and over in short periods of time.
Yeah.
Got to do the work. It's not about what Spirit wants to give you information so that you can take that information, positive information, and you can embody it.
Yeah.
So when people start talking to you about all the dark stuff and all this, like, "Oh, this stuff's been hanging around you," I will let them go faster from my space. I will not use them in fairs. I will not use them at message nights or anything, because that is not what Spirit is about, ever.
Never.
It's not about what you've done wrong in your past. You want to work on that? There's a whole slew of ways you can work on that. But Spirit's not judging you on it.
100%. And I think Tara hit a really key point here. As much as we're talking about the mind and being positive and living in that space of love and light, you have to do the work, people. Like, we are not fortune tellers. You can't come and say, like, miraculously make this. That's why Tara and I are also very hesitant to use the word healer instead of energy worker, because it's you that has to do the work with you in order to manifest the good things within the mind, body, soul part of your soul having a human experience.
Which brings me to another, kind of mindset here, is that if you're coming for a session with someone, and this is the difference between people booking with people like you and I, and seeking us out in referral kind of ways, or people that are just coming off the cuff because it's fun to go to a psychic fair.
Right.
If you're coming with intention and you're open to receive, you're going to receive it in the right way.
Yes.
If you are coming in and you're, and I'm not even talking about skeptics, because skeptics can still come in and just be open, but just have this little thing and still receive in the right way. But if you're coming in and you already have decided that you are cursed or hexed or voodoo, you need salt over you. I've done the salt thing. Oh my goodness. And all this extra stuff. And again, I'm not against ritual at all. If that makes you feel better, then you go and do that. But I and spirit are not going to be telling you to do that. That is not a spirit thing. That is a human practice, right? That is a human practice.
Yes.
Spirit's not running around telling people to sprinkle salt, in the four corners of their room. Spirit's not even telling people, Nancy, to put crystals in those four corners of the room.
But just for those of you out there who love crystals as much as me, continue to do it if you want to.
No, but you didn't let me finish, baby.
I know.
But we find tools that work well.
Yes. Yes.
But we find tools. So we find those crystals and we're like, okay, these are powerful crystals. I know that if I place these here, the energy is going to be good. It's not just you channeling spirit that's telling you that. It's you finding the tools and doing the work.
The work.
If salt works for you, baby, go ahead.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Like, it's you doing the work that you found the tools. It's not the tools.
I find it very interesting that when we talk about this and we talk about people, saying curses and doing all this stuff, that it is solely about the money for them.
Yes.
And that praying, reading that energy, like I talked about just a second ago, reading that energy of a person and being like, she's sad about something. She's sad about something. Because everyone is a psychic and everyone is a medium.
Yes.
That's why there's con artists, right?
In my opinion, what these false prophets are is complete con artists.
What about cults, right? Same thing.
Same thing.
I am Jesus. I am the Messiah. I am the next coming of so-and-so, right?
They're preying on people's vulnerability and their need to belong. But if you are sitting in such a place of personal power and confidence, you don't need to belong anywhere. I mean, you'll probably hear Tara say this. You hear me say this. If you're on an airplane, you hear it all the time. You put that oxygen mask on your first before you can help anyone else. And this comes back to doing the work. This all comes back to putting yourself first, putting number one first. Don't believe that there is an all-encompassing fix. It's the same, I fall prey to this all the time. For those of you who know me physically in person, I struggle with my weight. And I can't tell you how many times people try to sell me a miracle pill. It's not going to work.
Oh, I did all of that. You tell me every weight loss product out there, and I have tried it. Jenny Craig, LA Weight Loss, Herbalife, all of them.
And it wasn't until we do the work, do the work, that we see the change. There is, and it's the same with spirituality. There is no miracle pill. There's, and there's no curse.
There's no curse. And again, the moment that someone talks to you about money in big, big amounts, and I just want to say this, I do believe that there should be an exchange. An energy exchange, if it has to. I will take a can of soup. I say this all the time. I will take a can of soup, and I will give you a mini reading or whatnot. But there has to be an exchange, because the exchange is you saying, I value what you're giving me,
Yes.
right? I value what you're giving to me. And I know that I've given you X amount of whatever. And now you're going to give me X amount of whatever.
Yeah.
And I can take that. Because if you don't do an exchange, what happens is they say, well, she's just going to give me a reading, so I don't need to do the work, because I'm just going to go ask her how everything's going to go next month. Or I'm just going to ask her to tap in. I am going to say this with my full chest. Do not ask me to tap in. Do not ask me to tap in.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Why? Because one, I'm way too busy. I used to do that all the time. I think people think it takes like 3 seconds or I instantly get something. Yes, I do turn on and off with spirit like a light switch, but I also have a life.
Well, and you wouldn't go to your accountant and just say, could you just do a bit of my taxes for me?
No, and we've talked about that, right?
We talked about that on a previous episode. And I think, there's definitely an energy exchange. But when people get to the point where it's grossly greedy and there's giant volumes of money that they need in exchange for one thing, that's where you run. Right.
There's something fun. So there is a exhibition that's held every summer here in BC, in Vancouver, and I always go. We always call them the gypsies. I always go down there, and I take off any kind of jewelry that I have that's indicating that I am a spiritualist or a medium or anything. All the beads and stuff, and I kind of put away. I haven't done this in a couple of years, and I would go down there and I'd sit down for a reading. Now, they don't do mediumship. They always offer crystal balls, cards, etc., etc. They never, ever pick up that I'm a medium. Really. And that always towards the end of the session, they'll be like, someone will say something about work or what, and they'll give it. And so I've gotten some really great messages from them, absolutely. But they never, ever pick up I'm a medium. But at the end, they'll always say, well, what do you do for work? And I'll say, well, I'm a medium. They get so excited. They're like, can you bring in my grandma? Can you help? It's the cutest thing in the world. But I was in Vegas with my husband, and we were in Old Vegas, the old strip. And we had, it was kind of cool, not going to lie, Nancy Boo. They had this old caravan.
Oh, fun.
And, like you would see the one in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Okay. So they had this old caravan there, and I said, and I think the readings were like $25 US. And I said to Mike, should I? And he's like, why? Because he's not in there. I'm like, oh, come on, it would be fun. Like, let's see if they even know what I do.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and she was a younger woman. She was dressed like a gypsy too. So she was playing it up, right? It's Vegas. Let's be real. And anyway, I sat down, and she went into it, and she said, she told me what a terrible marriage I had. My husband was cheating on me, all this stuff in it, that we didn't get along. We didn't see eye to eye, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and then she said, but I can help you fix that. I can help you fix that. I said, really? And she says, for an extra $200, I can give you I don't know what the word is, some kind of drink or something that I could take. And
potion?
Yeah. And she didn't say potion, though. She said a different word. But anyway, and I was like,
elixir.
Yes, that's the word. Anyway, I was like, so for you, those of you that aren't looking, it's the Tara trigger face.
Yeah.
Like, those of you that aren't looking, those of you that are just listening, we do put this on YouTube, guys, so you can watch my facial features if you'd like. I stood up and I said, you can keep my $25. I don't think she even knew what a medium was when I said it. I said, but I'm a medium, and I think that we kind of got off on the wrong foot. And she's like, okay, $50.
And you went, no, you're not listening.
I was like, no. So I came out, and my husband's like, I told you. I was like, yeah, whatever. But I like to go in there and see. And there's been sometimes I've done stuff like that where I've been really wowed. Really wowed. Really wowed.
I think between all the stories that we're saying to you, dear listener, is use common sense. If it feels bad, it is bad. Walk away. If it's negative, it's bad. Walk away. If it requires a lot of money, walk away. Like
If it's in another country and they claim to be a healer and you've never seen them before and their assistants call you asking why you haven't sent your monthly stipend to them, they cannot do any more healing on you,
walk away.
or get a kick in the ass. I mean, that's a big one in the Indian culture.
Yeah.
Is the gurus who are in temples and places, and they're feeling, people here are feeling out of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. But if you've learned anything from this podcast episode, I think it's really, energetically use your energy. How does that person feel? Does it feel someone that they're right? And not everyone holds all the secrets, all the knowledge. I am a huge fan of learn what you can from me, take what you can, leave the rest, and then move on to someone else who can fill your cup and teach you more, and always be learning and growing and do the work.
And remember, if you are desperate for answers, if you feel like you've come to your wit's end, that nothing's working, or you need a change or anything like that, find a friend who you trust and ask them if they know anyone. Don't just go to anyone.
Yes.
Because they'll pick up on the desperation. Not everyone. And remember that. We are not coming out. I am not coming out and say every single psychic out there or medium out there is doing this. But there's a lot, because this has become very much a way to make money for people.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it with all the spiritual business entrepreneurs and all the, these people that say, I can build your business, Spirit's going to tell me. I do that all the time, but I never put a thing on it, because I just get the messages Spirit gives me.
Yeah.
But how you present yourself, it could be what changes a really great reading into someone suddenly feeling like they just need to sell you all the goods.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that. You're not that desperate. You're not that desperate. You may feel it with every ounce of your being, and you don't need to pay thousands of dollars.
Word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
Get a friend who knows someone.
Yep, exactly. And at this day and age, there's lots of beautiful soul healers and readers, energy practitioners out there. There is someone that will have good energy. And, there are websites, and you can go and get a good feel for it.
Definitely.
You can go to a website and get a good feel. For real. But you got to trust yourself. And remember, when you're sitting in desperation, that's when you want to turn to a friend that you trust wholeheartedly. And no mumbo jumbo. Can I leave it at that? No mumbo. If someone starts talking weird stuff about, the heavens are shifting and the repent, God's coming and all this jazz.
Yeah, there's
and that's
asteroid we got to hop on that's coming through Earth.
Right? And yeah. There's an asteroid coming we need to ride. Oh, maybe we should leave it at this.
I think we should leave it at that. So do your research, feel a good energy. There are no curses, avoid false prophets, and, reach out to us. If you guys need a referral for something, we can point you in the right direction.
I was just going to say that. There is a bevy of beautiful souls that work with Nancy and I that do different aspects of the work, because remember, there's a variety of modalities, things that you may vibe with differently than something else. And so we have a great pod. That's Nancy and I's new thing. She made that up. We were doing Spirit Scopes. So go watch June's Spirit Scopes and you're going to see what we're talking about on YouTube. But there's a bevy of beautiful souls, because Nancy and I might not be everyone's cup of tea. I can't imagine how we can be. But anyway, we might not be everyone's cup of tea, but we do have someone there. I promise you that Nancy and I would know someone, most definitely, that could help fill your cup.
Absolutely.
And not take advantage of you.
And that's key. Definitely.
Okay, we need to stop, because I keep thinking of things that I could go on about. So
thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, if you love our podcast, click like, click subscribe, give us stars, all of that good stuff. Because
share it with your friends. Be like, oh my God, those crazy ladies.
It helps get us out there. It helps get us engaged with people so we can do the work we love doing from our authentic places. As always, I am Nancy Christine Brady, intuitive medium animal communicator, signing off with the lovely
Diana, empowerment medium, and not a false prophet.
Bye, everyone.